So in this huge box here that I've got is the Xiaomi Mi M365 electric scooter. So it's a scooter that has a range of around 20 to 30 kilometers, so they claim. I find 30 a little bit hard to believe. So this massive box has come all the way from China. It looks like it hasn't been damaged at all, which is a good sign. It came from Gearbest. Now I'm a little annoyed because I paid $449 US for this, and literally a week later there's a new coupon that came out that I found that you can get this for $399. So I didn't have to pay any import tax on this, which is really good. It just was quite slow to get here. It took approximately 16 days from the time I ordered it to the guy dropping it off. So some specs of this, well, I'm just getting it out of here. It's got a peak 500 watt front hub motor. That's the normal rating is 250 watts. And I can see that I have to do some part assembling of this. Here's the front handlebars here. They've got the brake lever and everything's got protective wrapping on there. So there are the 4 screws and the tool we need to put the handlebars in. So there we go, all unpacked. I can just fit it on my desk here. First impressions, the build quality is really good. The materials, the finish, paint job, the welds on it. And that's all I had to assemble, which was the top handlebar that I showed you before. One of the screws is really hard to screw into place, this one right here, and I can't get it right in because the tool doesn't really give me enough room with the headlight there. So I'm going to have to find some tools I've got at home and put that in properly later. The charger we got here in the box, it's rated to 42 volts, 1.7 amps, and they also included this adapter here so you can extend from the valves when you need to pump up the wheels. They seem to be reasonably inflated at the moment, I just checked them. But it probably would be a good idea to put some more air in there so you don't give yourself any pinch flaps. There is an instruction manual leaflet here, which really isn't that helpful because it's all in Chinese, as to be expected. So the rear axle here has a disc brake, you can see. Now it's not a hydraulic brake, this is a cable one, so it's a pull cable style. And it does have this little tiny kickstand which feels like it's made out of metal. The build quality overall really is quite good. So this top here is rubber, feels quite grippy, so you shouldn't slip off that. If you have a look at the welds too, where the main housing joins up with the front, very good welds there. And there are these reflectors too on the side. Both the front and rear wheels have these plastic mud guards. Again, the build quality of them is quite good. This one, of course, has the motor inside there, which says on the side there, high power brushless motor. Now, getting these tires could be quite difficult. Now, this could be one of the weaknesses, I feel, of the scooter, that if you get a flat, it's probably going to be quite hard to change, to remove that. But there are some guides on YouTube how to do that. And you can source these tires, apparently, from AliExpress. There are some sellers that do have them, but they cost around 25 US each, so they're not exactly cheap. So the front left side of it, that's where the charging port is. It's got a rubber cap that covers that, so that means that dust, water and other things shouldn't get in there and block it up and cause problems later on. Now it takes 5.5 hours to charge, so it's quite a long time, and Xiaomi does recommend that you charge it every time after using it, and that way you've got maximum battery there, so you're not going to get stuck short with only, say, 30% battery. Now it's quite ingenious how it clips into the rear mud guard where the bell is. So the bell mechanism, you just have to push that and flip that up, and then the handlebars there are free. But you see that it clips into the back there. That is made out of rubber, locks in place, and then you're able to lift it up and walk up some stairs or put it under your desk or your car boot. It is quite heavy though, 12.5 kilos means it's not a light scooter. The latching mechanism here too, where you put the handlebars up, is really well made. You simply just pull up this lever to secure the handlebars in place. That locks it, there's no way that's going to come down on you. So the controls are straightforward. On the left we have the brake lever, and to accelerate is this right here. So pressing this down, once you kick off, you can accelerate using that. And to turn it on, we have the button here. So cycling through the various different modes that when you first power it on, you can tell me that I've got at the moment around 100% to 75% battery. The way that's flashing there. That's the normal mode, your standard mode, and I think it's pressing it twice quickly. That then puts it into eco mode to get your maximum range, but that limits the top speed to 18 kilometers per hour. And in the normal mode, it's 25 max. Now pressing it just once there cycles the headlight on and off. And this is the kind of power you can expect out of that headlight. It seems reasonable enough there that it should light your way. I mean, it's not a super powerful light. I guess it can't be because it would probably drain the battery too much. And our tail light, it's on continuously when you have the headlights on. And it's not that bright. You can see it is tiny too, so not really that visible, but it is better than nothing. And as you can see, it flashes when you apply the brakes. And then powering it off is just hold down the power button. And you will hear a confirmation beep telling you it's off. So when you plug it into charge, you get a confirmation beep, and the tail light will also pulse in and out to show you that it's currently charging. So connecting it up to the app is really easy. Just go into Play Store, you download 9bot, it's all in English, it's the Segway app, and it will tell you the battery levels, the speed you're doing too if you happen to run it when you're on it, and your remaining mileage, which it's telling me at the moment because it's still charging, not at 100% yet, but it's telling me I've got 26 kilometers there. There are some other settings in here. Most importantly would be your firmware update. Now, my one, this model that I got from GearBest, as mentioned, is running the latest firmware, so no problems there. Don't need to update it, but if you did have a dated one, then it would prompt you to download and update it. Now, there is this thing here called Cruise Control System, which is quite handy. It's disabled by default, so enabling this, what that does, you can see it's just telling me there, is that when you hold the button down for more than 5 seconds, it will beep and it will hold your speed, which is great, so you can continue on. And as soon as you tap the brake or the speed, it will come off, just like a car's cruise control. Other things in there as well is the accelerator mode. You can set that to weak, medium, or strong. So the stronger it is, the more it will slow down as soon as you take your finger off the throttle there. It should hopefully recover some of the battery percent, so regenerative braking that it's got. One thing I've noticed, I haven't tested it yet, but it seems that the brake, it doesn't exactly come on very strong, but maybe it is like this by design. But you can adjust it. You can see there is an adjustment thread there. So if you wind that out, it should mean it should come on a little faster. Okay, so here we go. First attempt. Now, I'm doing this one-handed because I'm holding a gimbal, which probably isn't the wisest. So don't do this at home, kids. So I've already turned on the button. It did the beep, and you need to kick off and then apply gas. So this is the maximum wheel lock here. It doesn't give you a lot, but I think that's the safest kind of limit there. So it's good that they've done this. Any more than that, and I would say you'll risk tipping over coming off. So the ground clearance isn't really that high. The problem is if you go down a curb, there's a real high chance that you'll probably bottom out on one of the curbstones, the underside of it. That'll scratch it, but it could also mean you come to a complete halt, and that will throw you off the scooter. So it is really easy to ride. It's just kick off, and the balance of it's easy to get a hang of. I think anyone can ride on this. You just press the accelerator, away you go. If you're not happy with how fast you're going, of course, you apply a bit of brake, or you just take your finger off the accelerator, and then it will slow down by itself from the resistance in the motor. So it's not super fast, but it does feel adequate. It feels fast enough, and I noticed that going up hills, that it will of course slow down a little, but it does have plenty of torque behind it, plenty of grunt to make it up most gradients. Now when it does get quite steep, then you probably will have to step off and help push along to get started again if it is very steep. So far, to summarize this is awesome. It is loads of fun. I've had so much fun driving around in town on this. It's got plenty of power. I think sufficient for most people. It's not a speed demon. It doesn't get up to scary fast levels where you feel like, oh, I should ease off, apply the brakes. No, not like that. Stability is really good because it weighs 12.5 kilos. It's quite hefty. That added weight just makes it feel a lot more stable. The wider tires on them, the fact that they've got inner tubes in them, they absorb some of those bumps and things, makes it feel and give you confidence when riding, and it is very easy to ride. As you've seen, you just kick off on the accelerator, away you go. Anyone can ride this. So there is a couple of cons here. My unit has something going on with the brake pads perhaps, or the brake mechanism. It just doesn't apply enough pressure. Now I have adjusted the cable. I think I need to tweak it again, but most of the braking is coming from the front hub with the resistance coming from the motor there. So that will slow you down, and of course it's got electronic ABS. braking in there, so it will never lock up the front wheel that's being controlled, which is a good security thing, because if you lock up the front wheel, if you're someone that rides scooters, then you know what can happen. Boom, boom. You hit your face on the ground, or maybe not your face, but it won't be pretty. So that is good. It gives you a lot of confidence riding it around. Now, ground clearance on the bottom is another problem. I found that I tried to jump down a curb and I didn't lift the front up enough, or I wasn't going fast enough. It'll ground out. I was lucky that it only ground out a little on the bottom, but if I'd hit it really hard and full on, it would have come to a full stop and I would have been thrown off the scooter. So this clearly is not for jumps or anything like that. Don't do any of that kind of silly jumps and stunts. No, it's going to end in tears if you're a kid. You want to try things like that? I know I would have. So don't bother with that. Charge time, yeah. Once I charged it from when I first got it was around 50%, to get to 96% was actually quite quick. That took only about an hour and a half, but full charge is around 5 hours. The power supply does get really, really hot. And yeah, that's really about the only cons I've found, apart from the big one, which is the range. Their claim of 30 kilometers, no way. No way, with my weight, 81 kilos, am I ever going to be able to get 31 Ks out of this. I will be happy if I can get around 18, but ideally just looking at the couple of kilometers that I've done, or was it 3 or 4, and the battery that I lost. Okay, I was accelerating quite aggressively most of the time on this, the whole time. I think it's only around 15 kilometers max. I don't know where they got 30K from. Not going to happen. So if you want to do high mileage on this, high Ks, to your work and back, or to school and back, university, make sure your trips are only about 15K return. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck somewhere and you're going to have to carry that battery charger with you. All right, so I will be back with a follow-up video of this, because I think that I need to use this for a week or two and report back on the kind of range I can get out of it, but most importantly, how it's holding up. Is it going to start falling to pieces? Am I going to get pinch flats or flat tires and things? I'll update you on that. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and you like these kind of videos, why not think about subscribing? Also, any comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. Bye for now.